Hello fellow daydreamers, and welcome to another journal flow where I take you through a daily dose of my journaling. This way you get to see my different journals compact in one video and maybe find out what interests you most. Or this can just be a nice chatty thing on the side, whatever you choose. I'm starting off with my bullet journal where I always start on the monthly entry page. Today this is July, that is themed after the zodiac sign of Leo. Here I can cross off some of my projects or major goals depending on how hard I've worked on them. My monthly calendar helps me to keep a bird's eye view of the whole month. It's where I log down any important events. My mood tracker takes the shape of a sun. Each sunbeam's length corresponds with how good I'm feeling that day. Below that one is my gratitude log, where I note one thing each day for which I'm grateful. This is a really good exercise. It even got recommended in one of the psychology lectures I took some semesters ago. I'm currently grateful for my cinema, since I'm watching many movies there nowadays, and I also value silence in a world where I'm oftentimes so distracted by social media and advertisement. Next thing is my elaborate habit tracker, where I can see very clearly in which areas I'm lacking and which I do good in. This is interesting to evaluate in these summer months, since I actually would have time for all those things, but deliberately choose to do or not do them. I did not do any facials this month, for example. Now I can ask, why is that, and what would it need for me to start doing those facials that would be beneficial for me? My successes cluster is one of my visually most fun spreads. It's where I reflect upon and celebrate an aspect of my day that I did succeed in. Lastly, I'm checking in with my weekly to-do list and update my video progress bars. They are very satisfying to fill in. The last couple days I suffered from quite a bit of back pain, so significantly that I wanted to log it down in my pain tracker to spot potential patterns in my health early, but it's probably just from standing a lot in my job. Moving on to my media journal. I've had quite a media day the day before filming this video. Not once, but twice I went to the cinema and watched both Elemental and Barbie. It was just a great day, honestly. So now I'm able to cross off those two movies from my to-be-consumed list in my monthly spread. I also write them down in my consume list to make it easier for gathering my statistics at the end of the month. And I lock them in the calendar on the left side. Since they were anticipated releases, I can also tick them off that list and then write them down in my good watches list. Elemental, being a fun, colorful and really well thought out Pixar movie that brought me to tears several times, is a clear 5-star watch for me. Barbie too was a good movie, very iconic set design and campy, but it's not that world changing. I'll talk about this one more in depth very shortly, since I want to dedicate a whole spread to its pinkness. Lastly, I'm adding those movies to my master shelf in the very front of my journal. So let's get this Barbie spread started. First I will talk about my decor choices and keep it light and spoiler free, and then I'll warn you before we go into spoiler territory. So of course the color scheme of choice here would be pink, so I scavenged my scraps pile and other papers for an assortment of different patterns of pink. Adding to that, there was some washi tape as well as a sticker sheet full with sweet pink objects and people. I'm only doing a one-page spread, so I keep the paper collaging to the edges of the spread, since I want to have enough space to journal about the movie later. Balancing out the amount of decoration on top and bottom, left and right. I tend to start with the biggest pieces and then work my way down to the smaller ones that I can layer on top. So the movie starts exactly how I imagined it would be, in the perfect plastic world of the Barbies and Kens. and Alan. They let us admire the whole Barbie aesthetic, style and vibe then, but that runs throughout the whole movie luckily. It's very iconic. But they spice it up pretty fast with the minor errors that start to chip on this perfect world. I'm starting to get into some spoilers, so feel free to skip ahead or mute me until the next journal. In the end, Barbie needs to find the person who played with her to get back into a flawless and ever the same state of life, and gets confronted with the measures of the real world that are vastly different from everything she's known. Ken, being so desperately in love with her, accompanies her and falls in love with the patriarchy that rules Earth. Bringing that one back to Barbieland, Barbie suddenly has to fight for her own world to go back to status quo. Her worldview is shattered once she learns that she is the problem. In my opinion, she's only part of the problem, not the problem, and that made the world how it is today. Always thinking to have empowered women to be whoever they want to be, but condemning them to unrealistic beauty standards and caging their beliefs and wishes into an imaginary and unreachable plastic world. This movie leans very hard on the social commentary bit, but I think it was the right take to be this critical, with the shiny pink fantasy being this unrealistic in our society. Beside the comedic ride of bringing down the Kens again and finding a way together, what stayed with me the most was the very simple way of the ending. Barbie talks to her founder, Ruth Moscow Handler, and chooses to become human, to feel all the feelings. And that's exactly what I want from life, so this resonates with me. Since I'm feeling all reflective now, I'm going into my 5-year journal now, where I answer 3 prompts per week, hopefully for 5 years. Feel free to answer them alongside me, of course. The first question asks, what do I depend on the most this week? For me, it's my work companions. We need to be able to depend on each other, since work is very chaotic this month. The second question is, what is something smart I recently did? I pondered way too long over this one, but I settled with my jewelry organization that has improved now since arranging that one by style as well. The last one is, what is my most useful cooking utensil? For me, that is my wok pan, where I can just throw stuff in together, let it cook for a bit, and it turns out delicious every time. The last station in this video is my Swiss travel journal. I recently traveled to the Ticino with my mum, and I gathered many little things and photos to document in this book and journal about them, since the memory is still fresh now. So I decided to do a spread on the village we stayed at, Ascona. I wanted to keep all the spreads from this trip together, even though the journal as a whole isn't chronological at all. But I found the perfect page through trying out where I could stick down this postcard that pictures the famous piazza of Ascona. There were so many pieces of ephemera and photos that I knew I had to maximize the space so I could fit everything. So naturally, the postcard became a flip out. I fixated it from both sides with some of my thickest washi tape. To make a spread coherent, I often play off the existing colors in my statement pieces. For this spread, that will be those strong blue tones and also this peachy pink color. I stamp out the name of the village and stick it down so it shows when the postcard is flipped in. For the most part, I try to get the chunkier pieces out of the way first so that they find space easier. Like with this wooden stick we got to steer our mojitos in Papa Joe's. That big sketch I tore from a paper tablecloth of the restaurant we ate our first dinner at. Fittingly, it also has this blue color. Since it blended into the background too much, I kind of lined it with a darker blue paper to make it pop. Another tablecloth piece of a different restaurant goes perfectly on the right side since it has this warm olive color that plays well with the craft paper beneath it. There goes a little business card of the boutique I bought some pieces from. And I got the name of the restaurant from its receipt. On the flip out goes another handkerchief of an ice cream place, and then it's time to bring in the corresponding photos. If there is not much to cover up, I like to collage away with some washi tape, always using the colors that are in the photos or the overall environment of the spread. I had this sturdier card that I just attached with a paper clip, even more space to document memories. I had to overwrite the receipt font since that one will fade with time. On the right side there is a completely different color scheme, being all warm and cozy, so I documented my favorite dinner there when we went to the Baldoria. My yellow dress harmonizes here best, so I cut a paper to journal on and stuck it back into the plastic sleeve. Some final touches with the smaller ephemera, and I decided to journal away on the areas that felt the blankest still. Thank you so much for watching, and if you wish to dream along some more, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!